to do a little bit of an experiment. So, I've pre-frozen all of these here, and what it is yogurt. Woo! And then I added a scoop of a meal replacement shake protein powder called Shakeology and multigrain Cheerios. So these will make cereal bars. And they're pre-portioned, kind of overfilled the containers a bit, but that's okay. Pre-portioned cereal bars. So super healthy. On some of the Facebook groups I'm in, this is one of the most popular items to keep on hand, especially for kids. Great for lunches, great for backpacking. And you just pre-freeze it in these silicone molds. They come out super easy, as you see. Just break them up. And they fit nicely on the tray. So as we fill the trays here, I'm going to load them, weigh them, and then lower them up into the freeze dryer. And then I will show you what I'm going to do with all this yogurt here. Get my scale out. And I do have a logbook that shows the dates, what's in it, what was run, whether it was pre-frozen or not, added time. So we're going to be doing run number 8. I've already started to fill it in. I've got Ginger underfoot. Anytime I'm working near my freeze dryer, she's looking for bits that fall off. So I'm just going to turn on my scale. Make sure it's not touching anything else. And I write it down in kilograms. A lot of people use pounds. It's just easier for me to subtract instead of trying to subtract pounds and ounces and, you know, decimals of ounces. Just use kilograms. 1,000 grams is kilogram. There's no like 12 units and 16 units. Imperial. Up here in Canada, use metric. So this is 2.110. I've already started to pre-freeze my freeze dryer. Oh, I left it lifted up. So when I'm defrosting, there's a hole in the back of the freeze dryer that comes down the drain pipe and into, I have a carboy down here. And I found if you need to kind of tilt it back, otherwise you're gonna have water coming out the front. So I found these great little things online. It's a wedge that you pump up, really designed for getting into cars. You know, truck drivers or tow truck drivers have them, put them in so that they pump up so that they can get that Slim Jim in. Well, this works perfectly. It can sit just under the edge here. And then when I'm done, when I'm ready to defrost, I just pump it. Close valve. Pump it, and it lifts. So it tilts. And after it's done, you want it back level again, so your food, if you have any sort of liquids or whatnot, stays level. I also have a Wise cam set up so that when I'm away from the basement, I can see what my freeze dryer is at. Open that there. Pull this out and put our first load in. Next load. Same thing. More large individual servings of yogurt cereal bars. But this one, so the other one had a chocolate mocha meal replacement powder added to it. And this one has a vanilla meal replacement powder. One of these is peach, one of these is vanilla flavored yogurt. Of the ones that I've already put inside, one was, I think, blueberry, and another one was cherry. So again, load that all on, turn on my scale. And record my starting weight. And in she goes. So I only had enough of the individual ones to do 2 trays. Plop that there for now. My next tray, same thing, but in these little bite size. And using these silicone molds is easy for portion control and getting nice uniform pieces. Because I can imagine if I tried to cut this after it was freeze dried, that won't go so well because they're going to be so dry, so fluffy, and just kind of break apart. There. And I don't think these are going to actually puff up too much. So I'm not too worried about spacing. If they do puff up a bit and end up touching each other, because they've already been cut, they've got a good cut line between them, they'll be easy to just pull apart. Get a few more from this one. Oops. Ginger gets one. Alright. So that should be a good tray's worth. I'll spread them out a little bit. Alright. Now weigh 1.625. And it goes. Next thing I did, because I ran out of silicone molds, I took these lids from takeout container and I filled it with lemon yogurt. Let's just see if I can. And then put some oats on the bottom. See if I can make some like lemon squares. because we don't want to put only 3 trays in the freeze dryer. We want to fill it up as best we can. Well, we're gonna have 1 and a bit left. That's okay, I'll throw them back in the freezer for next time. Did not go so well, but that's okay. There we go. Again, turn on the scale. And 1.573. And in it goes. So we have our full-on, filled up freeze dryer. Put the pillow in. And I'm going to close it up. I'm going to wait just a few minutes before I actually start it. It's going to keep it nice and cold. And I'm going to work on this other side here. So I've done yogurt in the past in my dehydrator here, and I love it. It makes kind of a Laffy Taffy consistency. This is the first time I'm going to be doing it in my freeze dryer. So for yogurt, all I do, it's really simple. Some people put it into a piping bag and then they pipe out little dots. Nice little cute. Got time for that. Not me. Dump out the yogurt. Take a spatula or a spoon or something and just level it out. And then when I'm done, when this comes out of the dehydrator, it's like a piece of leather. It's like that Laffy Taffy or Airheads kind of consistency. So I can just take a pair of scissors and cut them. And it goes. Next, strawberry. So I've got 1 vanilla, 2 strawberry, and 2 cherry. Find the ones with fruit are a little more runny than plain yogurt, because the sugars and the moisture from, in this case, the strawberries. But it still works great. Again, just flatten it out. And pop it in. And so what I have here on the sheets, and I use them in my freeze dryer as well, are barbecue Teflon sheets. Teflon got a really bad name years ago because it's toxic when heated. Since those days, Teflon has been basically re-engineered. Still, if you get things like Teflon pans where you overheat the Teflon and it starts to flake off, you don't want to eat that. You don't want that in your food. But these, there's no, the fibers are covered in the Teflon and there's nothing to flake off. So it's a lot safer. And Teflon, the weave, because it's like a material, a fiber, like a cloth. It's great for the dehydrator because it lets a small amount of air still get to the bottom without allowing a thicker liquid like this to fall through. I was experimenting with my dehydrator and I tried to put laundry soap in. No, all fell right through. For something like that, you use either a plastic tray or a silicone mold. But it takes longer because you don't get that airflow from the bottom. And you then have to, once the top is done, you basically have to flip it over and get the bottom to dry. Alright, so we got our cherry. Ooh. Little corner. Don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too thin either. So I'm gonna spread it all out as even as we can. And I find for these trays, one tub is perfect. And our last one. Another cherry. Love it when they come out clean like that. Squish down. So I love it when I find yogurt on sale, these tubs. 30% off, 50% off, or whatever, $1 a tub. I grab 6 or more, because 6 fit into the dehydrator. And there we go. I know I only did 5. The last one, I put green beans. I like dehydrated green beans, the way that they crunch when it's kind of like a chip. I kind of like it better than the freeze-dried ones. The freeze-dried ones I find almost too dry. So what we're going to do, I'm going to turn both of these on. The dehydrator I'll turn on to about 110 degrees. I like to keep it nice and low. That way we keep any of the probiotics and prebiotics and the good stuff from the yogurts. And then we'll turn on the freeze dryer. And I will come back when the freeze dryer is done. The dehydrator should be done probably before that. But I'll keep track and we'll see how far it goes. See you when it's done. Okay, hi guys, we're back. It's the next day. The dehydrator was done this morning. The freeze dryer is finished now. I haven't checked on them yet. It's been 26 hours in the freeze dryer. Undo the vacuum. And fingers crossed that it all works out. No milk explosions from the yogurt. It looks good. Look at these yogurt bars. So, first things first, we're going to weigh and see the difference. Turn on the scale, get to the right page. So the first tray was 2.110 kilograms. Now it's 1.337. That's quite the difference. And I'm just going to take one of these and give it a try. So that's super light. That's really good. Yep. I like those. So we'll just put them in this container here for now. And we will, or I will package them up after. So, first tray is done. Another beautiful tray of yogurt bars. So the second tray started off as 2.119, and we're down to 1.329. And again, they look lovely as well. Take the one I bit out. I can see this being my breakfast. They're a great breakfast bar. Look at those. Aren't those cute? You can see the freeze pattern in them. That's kind of cute. And again, the weight difference started off as 1.625. And we're down to 0.998. I'm going to try one of these. Look at that. Definitely need some water nearby with these. But so yummy. It's not a video unless I drop something on the floor. And the last one. This was the lemon lemon pie type ones. And it went from 1.573 to 1.007. So each of them is losing at least half a kilogram of weight. I'm just going to try this little piece here. So it's got the oats on the bottom and lemon yogurt. Again, just flakes apart in your mouth. Nice to have with a drink. But the citrus flavor, wow, it really brought out the lemon. I didn't expect it to bring out the lemon that much. And carefully transfer these because they are so fragile and delicate. They just break apart. But that's okay. We haven't checked on our dehydrated yogurt. So, partway through, I peeled it off of the Teflon sheet and flipped it over. That way the bottom could get dry as well. And as you can see, I've already tried a little piece of it. The edges are crispy because they get a little bit more dry. But then, as I mentioned earlier, when we were putting it in, just cut it into strips for your portion control. And then, like I said, it's like a Laffy Taffy Airheads kind of consistency. A much easier way to eat yogurt when you're on the go and just need a little snack. So I love having some of this around. Some people ask, now that I have my freeze dryer, am I going to still use my dehydrator? 100% the answer is yes. There is a texture difference between yogurt done in the dehydrator. It's that chewy, taffy kind of thing, and the texture of a freeze dried is very much more flaky, kind of like the inside of a Whopper. So you want to have a variety of textures. And then as well, we just grab there it is. I gotta label all my bags. I'm a little behind. So, this is a green bean that was freeze-dried. So half a green bean, and then this is a green bean that was dehydrated. So dehydrating takes up far less space. Takes a little bit longer to rehydrate, but I promise you these would both look very similar once rehydrated. They're both great for snacking. However, I find the freeze-dried, because it's so dry, it sucks all the moisture even out of your mouth as you're eating it. Whereas the dehydrated, it's lost all its mass, and it's like a chip. So it's just kind of preference. Some things are, I like the texture of dehydrated, and some things I like the texture better freeze-dried. They both have their pros and cons. Dehydrated, you lose about 60% of your nutrient value because of the long exposure to heat. Whereas, no, you keep only about 60-65% of your nutrient value because of its long exposure to heat. You lose almost 40%. Freeze-dried, you keep about 90% of the nutrient value. So, dehydrated, packed smaller, freeze-dried, lasts a lot longer. So they both have their place, and I love being able to play with both.